Wow, that's really all I can say right now, as probably the biggest upset of the Women's March Madness tournament has just gone down, with Creighton beating the Iowa Hawkeyes in a thrilling second round matchup. Iowa, the number 2 seed, came in as heavy favourites, but the elite defensive game plan from Creighton allowed them to stay in front for most of the match and in the end win in the dying moments. The Blue Jays were able to hold off Caitlin Clark as she finished the match with just 15 points on 4 for 19 shooting from the field, including 0 for 8 shooting in the second half. So, how did they do it? I'll be breaking down the footage and analysing their defensive game plan, offensive strategy, and other key areas that won them this game in today's video. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe. For more women's basketball content like this, I'd love to reach 2,000 subscribers on this channel, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's take a look at the Creighton vs Iowa game. Firstly, let's focus on the offensive sides of things for Creighton, as that was how they stayed on top of Iowa in the first half. Iowa struggled to contain Creighton's 5-out offensive strategy, especially in that first half. Creighton is one of the best passing teams in the country. They have fantastic ball movement, which constantly opens up cutters and spot-up shooters who can throw their opposition's defense off with so much going on off the ball. It's why the Blue Jays are the number 1 team in the country in assists per game. So by continuing this in today's game, it forced players like Sonano to play more perimeter defense rather than being able to be a rim protector inside, opening up the driving lanes a lot more, resulting in easy layups like you can see in these clips here. Iowa's rotations were poor early on as they struggled to keep up with the constant off-ball movement of Creighton's offense, and that helped keep the Blue Jays in the game in a big way. Creighton also dominated the glass for most of the night, out-rebounding the Hawkeyes by 15. Where it felt like they were dominating the most was on the offensive glass, with them finishing the game with 15 offensive rebounds to Iowa's much lower of 8. Those second chances proved to be crucial, and it's something that Iowa will need to take a look at in the off-season. It was one of the major contributors to why they lost this game. Back to the offense though, Creighton's off-ball movement was really key to getting them this win, and going into the half with a sizable lead. The movement kept Iowa guessing and made the offense so dynamic. All players could be in position to score at any time, whether that was from a cut to the basket, rotation to the corner, or off a soft pick and roll at the top of the key. The versatility of their offense made the game really fun to watch, and again, this is what made it difficult for Iowa to control the game. While it appeared to be all offense at the start of the game, as both teams adjusted, the game slowed right down, and while that did benefit Iowa's defense in the second half, it also helped Creighton majorly as well, as they were able to prevent one of the better transition scorers in the NCAAW in Caitlin Clark from damaging the scoreboard in that way. So, with that said, let's discuss the defensive game plan of Creighton now. As I mentioned, Caitlin Clark was dominating early through her transition play, knocking down a couple big shots and making some sweet dimes to Sonano before the Blue Jays defense could set up. Iowa seemed to make a point of trying to get a shot up in less than 10 seconds per possession, keeping the Creighton defense on their heels and forcing mismatches. This did work quite well, but the Hawkeyes were letting themselves down defensively. However, Creighton did eventually make the adjustment to slow the game down and force more half-court sets, which they're great at, but isn't Iowa's strong suit. This half-court set, for example, from Iowa is good as it gets Clark a decent look, but the Blue Jays were all over Clark, making the shot a bit more rushed than it needed to be. When Clark was a ball handler in a set instead, it's a different example here. Creighton tended to throw a lot of soft doubles at Caitlin Clark to make her move the ball more often, and I think this was a good strategy. It helped throw Clark off her game a bit, as she wasn't getting the room she was used to, and her shots weren't falling as much as they normally would, so the frustration began to show. This defense kept the ball out of Clark's hands, forcing players like Czinano to make the big plays. And while Czinano did step up big time, the rest of Iowa's supporting cast didn't at all. So it was clear that Clark was needed to make a major impact for Iowa to win the game today, and Creighton's exceptional defense made it really difficult for her to do so. Overall though, this was a fantastic game from both sides really. It was a great chess match between the two, filled with constant adjustments. While Iowa will be extremely disappointed with this outcome, with there obviously being a lot more they could have done, I don't think they can be too disappointed with how their season went. Sure, maybe a few calls could have gone their way today, maybe they could have game planned for Creighton's 5-out offense a bit better and they'd still be in this tournament. But this team has been really impressive all season long and made major improvements from this time last year. They simply got outplayed by the underdog today, whose brilliant defense and great offensive awareness won them this game. Creighton will now go on to play Georgia or Iowa State, which we should know by the time this video comes out, and honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they can upset one of them too and go into the Elite Eight. It's called March Madness for a reason, and Creighton have been the ones shaking things up a whole lot this tournament, now entering the Sweet 16 for the very first time. But that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? What were your thoughts on the Iowa-Creighton game? Did I miss anything in my analysis? How did Creighton slow down Iowa to you? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.